Greetings of the day, sir. Today, me and my team will present our views on the topic conflict management. Over to you, Gulka.
Uh, Before getting into the topic, let's see the existence of conflicts. Conflicts arises naturally in every arena of our daily life. Conflicts occur at all levels of interaction. Conflicts can occur at any place, be it organization, groups, friend circles, and even at our homes. Uh, so basically, what is conflict? Here, what happens whenever two individuals opine in different ways, a conflict arises. In a layman's language, conflict is nothing but a fight or a disagreement either between two individuals or among the group members. No two individuals can think alike, and there is definitely a difference in their thought process as well as in their understandings. Disagreement among individuals lead to conflicts. Now, if we think from the organization point of view, so people experience wide range of conflicts when there is incompatibility of goals, which means difference in their end goals. Secondly, differences over interpretation of facts. Parties in conflict are interpreting the facts differently from each other. Disagreements based on behavioral expectations. In this, if I am here example is like I am expecting that the person should behave according to my expectation in a particular situation. At last, when conflicts are handled properly, however, they can lead to new or innovative solutions and more cohesive relationships. Learning how to manage and take advantage of conflicts can help business owners build better teams and a healthier workplace. Over to you, Aditya.
I am Aditya Fawzar here to explain the types of conflicts. There are mainly four types of conflicts. First one is intrapersonal conflict. Intrapersonal conflict occurs within an individual, hence it is a type of conflict that is psychological involving the individual's thoughts, values, and principles and emotions. This can be well explained with the help of an example. A lawyer may experience a conflict of values when he represents a defendant he knows to be guilty of charges brought against him, or a worker whose goal it is to earn her MBA might experience an interpersonal conflict when she is offered a position that requires her to transfer to a different state. Or it might be a role conflict where a worker might have to choose between dinner with family or dinner with clients. Solution to these interpersonal conflicts depends totally on the personal preferences of the individual. Comparing pros and cons of the two situations, an individual can reach a valid and logical outcome. The second type of conflict is interpersonal conflict. As it can be guessed, interpersonal conflict is conflict due to differences in goals, values, and styles between two or more people who are required to interact. As this type of conflict is between individuals, the conflicts can get very personal. This can be well explained with the help of a small case study that I have prepared. This is a conflict that arose between John Scully and Steve Jobs. When Macintosh sales didn't meet expectations during the 1984 holiday shopping season, then CEO of Apple John Scully demanded that Steve Jobs be relieved of his position as vice president of the Macintosh department. Cue interpersonal conflict. As Steve Jobs was still chairman of Apple's board, it was Scully's wish that Jobs represent Apple to the outside world without any influence on the internal business. Steve Jobs got wind of this and tried to sway the board in his favor. The conflict was put to an end by the board when they voted in favor of Scully's plan. Jobs ended up leaving the company, disclosing that hiring Scully for the CEO position was the worst mistake he ever made. The third type of conflict is intergroup conflict. Intergroup conflict is the first disagreement that exists between two or more members of the respective party. However, this can also reflect any type of formal or informal discussions between varying groups, such as political parties or activist groups. It is typically the most complicated form of conflict because of the number of individuals involved. Coalitions form within and between groups, and an us against them mentality develops. Here too is an opportunity for groups to develop and thrive. Conflict arising between workers and management is a kind of intergroup conflict. Here, the fight should be against the problem and not other groups. What is developing conflict and how can we solve? Main focus should be there. The fourth type of conflict is intra-group conflict. Intra-group conflict refers to a specific kind of conflict that occurs between members of a group that shares common goals, interests, or other identifying characteristics. Intra-group conflict can be on small scale, such as within a workplace, or large scale, such as between members of a specific population group. For instance, a board of directors may want to take a risk to launch a set of products on behalf of the organization. In spite of dissenting opinions among several members, intra-group conflict takes place among them as they argue the pros and cons of taking such a risk. Over to you, Raki.
Okay, so I would be continuing with the further of the presentation. So, conflict is nothing but just a mere disagreement between the opinions of the parties. Conflict is something which is inevitable and cannot be avoided. And in my opinion, it shouldn't be avoided or suppressed. Rather, it should be managed, which invented the term conflict management. For example, if there is a company, say XYZ Limited, and in that there is a person A who is having a conflict with person B in decision making of something, then the possible way of handling this conflict could be mutually understanding each other's viewpoint. The quality of our lives depends not on the conflicts we have, but on how we respond to them. In my opinion, conflict management is defined as the opportunity to improve situations and strengthen relationships by being proactive and collaborative. Moving on to the theories of conflict management. There are in total two theories of conflict management. First one is traditional theory. Traditional theory states that the conflicts are caused by the troublemakers. Conflicts are bad. Conflicts should be avoided. My opinion to this theory is firstly, I disagree with it. As when there would be people with diverse nature, there would be conflicts. And if these conflicts taken care of, then they might help us or the organization to have some good inventions or some game changing decisions as well. The second theory is the modern theory. The modern theory states that the conflicts are inevitable between human beings. Gurkha, please change the slide. Modern theory states that the conflicts are inevitable between the human beings. Conflicts are often beneficial. Conflicts are natural result of change. Conflicts can and should be managed. Now, most of you might be wondering and thinking that how can a conflict be beneficial for an organization? First thing, get this thing very straight that whenever there is a conflict and we have a solution for that, it will always beneficial for the organization. Let me explain it to you with the help of some examples. For example, if a person A is having some intra conflict that is within himself, and because of that, he is not paying attention to his work and also being rude to his colleagues. This conflict is hampering the smooth functioning of the organization. But dealing with this conflict and developing a session for all the employees who feel disturbed in any way will just not only the resolve this conflict but also give the organization its healthy employees back. Another example is that if two companies are having conflict and fighting a court case against one another regarding the same, then they are wasting their time and resources. But if they deal with this conflict with the help of mediation and resolve this conflict, they can save their time and resources and can put all these resources and time to something valuable. Last example that I'd like to cite is that if there is a conflict ongoing between a sales department manager or a production department manager and they are not communicating with each other properly, this lack of communication and information will lead to the excess production of the product without knowing the actual demand of the product in the market and can also lead to the wastage of organizations resources. Now, Dealing with this conflict will resolve the conflict and also lead to the smooth functioning of the organization. Next slide, please. Now, I would like to move towards the importance of the conflict management. First, it gives us creative solutions to every problem and sometimes some game-changing decisions as well. It helps us maintaining the internal relationship issues of the organization. It helps us avoiding negativity, stress, and demotivation around us. Who would like to work in an organization with full of conflicts? Conflict-free organization have minimum employee turnovers. Last but not the least, maintenance of peace and harmony in the organization will lead to the development of loyal employees for the organization. Now over to you, Aditya.
We are all born in an organization, spend maximum years of our childhood in an organization by getting educated. We work in an organization and then we die in an organization as well. Technically, we spend whole of our lives in an organization and we all are surrounded by many of them. Over to you, Raghi.
Organization is a place where a set of organized people come together to achieve a particular goal. And that coming together of people can lead to conflicts, as we all are different to each other in many terms. Conflicts are inevitable and it cannot be avoided and it shouldn't be avoided, but it can be managed. It can be of two types, or it is determined as of two types, that is functional and dysfunctional. Functional conflict is good for every organization, as it helps the organization to see that where is it lacking so that corrective measures can be taken and that particular situation can be taken care of. It can also lead to inventions and new methods to carry out the business or the activities. Whereas negative conflicts or dysfunctional conflicts is not only bad for the organization but also for the people working in it. It is good for nothing and it should be avoided till the extent it is possible. Over to you, Gulka.
And now, if we talk about few conflict handling styles, each one of us has a predominant conflict handling style. With a better understanding of the impact of a personal conflict style has on other people, we can consciously choose how to respond to others in a conflict situation. Here are few conflict handling styles. First one is avoiding. The avoiding style is low on both cooperativeness and assertiveness. In this case, one party withdraws from or suppresses the conflicts once it is recognized. Sir, I would like to request you that please read the messages of the chat number 1. So now in this screenshot, there's example of 3 of us discussing over the group. Here both the team members are communicating what the third one, that is Aditya, is not communicating and being impersonal with his team members. Now the second conflict handling style is accommodating. In this style, is high on both cooperativeness and low on assertiveness. In this style, the person gives in to what the other side wants, even if it means to give up one's personal goals. People incorporating this style believes that disagreeing with an idea might be hurtful to the other person. Now, sir, please read the screenshot number 2. In this screenshot here, Aditya seeks to appease his other teammate, that is me, as soon as he recognizes a potential conflict by agreeing to the topic suggested by me and giving up his own topic. Now, the third conflict handling style is compromising or maneuvering conciliation. It is a kind of situation in which each party is willing to sacrifice some of their goals and persuade others to give up theirs. So I would like you to read the screenshot number 3. In this particular conflict, as we have seen in the screenshot, each one of us gave up on our own topic in order to maintain peace and come on common ground. Now, the fourth conflict handling style is competitive. This style is exemplified by the person who ambitiously realizes his or her goals at the expense of others. Or we can say he or she seeks to satisfy his or her own interest, regardless of the impact on the other parties to the conflict. This style is high on both assertiveness as well as cooperativeness. Sir, I would like you to read the screenshot number 4. So in this situation, Rakhi chose her interest of presenting more content than any of her teammates, and to increase her content and time than any of us. This may lead to poor relationship with others if one is always seeking to maximize their own outcomes. Now, the fifth one, is collaborating. The collaborating style is high on both assertiveness as well as cooperativeness. This is a strategy to use for achieving the best outcome from a conflict. In this style, collaborators' goal is to find mutually acceptable solutions to group members' problems. So, I would like you to read the screenshot number 5. In this situation, while Rakhi was all occupied and with important deadlines, we thought of a win-win solution to the problem, in which all of us get what we want by showing collaborative style. We emphasized problem solving and integration of each other's goals. Now there's a short video. And that brings us to the end. I would like to thank you for your time and attention.